Today we're going to look at NS6 and a little bit of NS7, where we're talking about absolute values, but we're not ready for rational numbers yet. We're still on integers. Now, just to recap, integers are positive, negative, neutral, whole numbers. Okay, so we're not ready for decimals and fractions just yet with these. So, main thing we need to understand with this is that absolute value is your distance from zero. Not your distance from one, not your distance from another, a distance from zero, and your zero changes depending on the situation. It's not always the actual number of zero. It depends on what the situation is calling for zero to represent. So let's look at a few of these. First thing, we have a negative inside of this absolute value bar. Now, what that means, these are not parentheses. I have kids every year that get the absolute value bar confused with a parentheses. Not the same thing. This right here just basically means how far is negative 3 from 0. So on a number line, we have negative 3 here. And I want to know how far is negative 3 from 0. So we can draw a line here. We can count. If you feel more comfortable counting it, you could count it and say there are 3 spaces from 0 on the left. That's why we call it negative 3. So our absolute value of negative 3 here is 3. Positive 3 is on the right side of 0. It is 3 spaces to the right of 0. So the absolute value of 3 is 3. Now, a good thing we need to point out here, negative 3 and 3 are opposites. Opposites have the same absolute value, but I want to make this clear. Absolute value and opposite are not the same thing. Opposites are on different sides of 0. Absolute value is distance from 0. Little bit of a word change there, but it means a completely different thing from each other. So let's look at the absolute value of negative 15. Now, if you notice on my number line on this one, we separated them by 5s. Instead of counting all of them to 20, we just separated them by 5s. So let's talk about our negative 15 inside this absolute value bar. So we're going to go down here to negative 15. And I want to know distance from 0. How far is negative 15 from 0? It's 15 because if it wasn't, it would be called another number. But we can always go and count by 5s and say 5, 10, 15. So the absolute value of negative 15 is 15. Then we have 15 itself, the positive 15. It is on the right side of 0. So we're going to go over here and we're going to count 15 spaces to the right of 0. So we have a positive 15. That is our absolute value in this situation. So again, negative 15 and 15 are opposites, but they have the same absolute value. Opposites are on different sides of 0. Absolute value deals with the distance from 0. And they both have the same distance from 0, just on different sides. One more we're going to talk about, the absolute value of 7. The absolute value of 7 is going to be 7 because you are 7 places to the left of 0. The absolute value, I said that backwards. The absolute value of 7 is 7 because you are 7 places to the right of 0 on a number line. The absolute value of negative 7 is going to be 7 because you are 7 places to the left of 0 on a number line. So, just a little recap from today. Opposites and absolutes are not the same. Opposites are on different sides of 0. Absolute value talks about the distance that both or more numbers are from 0.